Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I am Dr. Riya and today we are going to discuss the Renaissance drama. This is the continuation of the discussion. In my previous video, I have discussed Renaissance drama, but I purposefully left out Shakespeare because Shakespeare deserves a separate video altogether. I'm trying to cover UGC net syllabus, and if you are interested in that, consider subscribing and stick around. So without further ado, let us begin. It is customary to look at Shakespeare's dramatic works alongside his life. His life is divided into a few periods, and historians also prefer to divide his dramatic works like that. But that is a bit of a problem because Shakespeare did not write in one genre only. So when we classify his plays, we end up having a mixed bag of plays, not uniform in form, style, or theme. But if we classify his works according to genre, then we have mixed chronology. Now, the million-dollar question: how did Shakespeare become Shakespeare? There is a lot of enigma surrounding his lifetime, his birth, and his birthplace. His date of birth might be 23rd of April 1564 because he was baptized on 26th of April 1564. He was born at Stratford-upon-Avon, which is not actually a city kind of a place. This place, with its surrounding, has a very deep influence on his mind. These romantic images of the surrounding keep on appearing within his plays. But he became Shakespeare in the city of London. It was diametrically opposite to Stratford. It was a hub of things that were happening. It was a center of political power. Therefore, what we see in Shakespeare is a mixed influence of his birthplace as well as of London. On one hand, we have this natural bounty, and on the other hand, we have the height of civilization. In almost all his plays, we find the reflection of these two worlds. That is why he could understand what people wanted from drama. He had experience in both city and country. Therefore, he could create something which would appeal to people from all kind of social stratas. And that is why his plays are so universal in nature. At around 1587, he joined Barbage's company. Interesting to know that he started out as an actor and then started to revise other people's plays. Eventually, he became a dramatist himself. This is why his earlier plays have 2-3 collaborators. Chronologically, we can divide his works into 4 periods. Number 1 is Initiation, which is from 1590 to 1595. Number 2 is Development period, which is from 1595 to 1600. Number 3 is Excellence, which is from 1600 to 1607. And number 4 is Maturity, which lasts from 1607 to 1613. In the Initiation period, Shakespeare wrote Henry VI in 3 parts, Titus Andronicus, The Comedy of Errors, Two Gentlemen from Verona, The Taming of the Shrew, Love's Labour's Lost. This was the period of experimentation. This was also the time when Marlowe was writing successfully. He used blank verse but with a lot of rhyming couplets in that. He was showing innovative parts, but they were not as popular as Marlowe's. In the development period, he wrote Romeo and Juliet, Midsummer's Night Dream, Richard II, King John, The Merchant of Venice, Henry IV in 2 parts, Much Ado About Nothing, Henry V, and As You Like It. We see now massive growth and development. Midsummer's Night Dream is comparatively less read by children. There is this dreamy land and all these romantic elements are seeping in. We have historical plays also in this time. So we have a lot of variety here. The Excellence period is considered to be the most influential and most important part of Shakespeare's life. Although this is the most remarkable time of his life, it is also the darkest of his life. This is the time he deals with the gloomiest sides of human nature. And this phase shows the real maturity he has gained about human nature and the dark sides of human nature. The major plays are Julius Caesar, The Merry Wives of Windsor, Twelfth Night, Troilus and Cressida, All Wells That Ends Well, Measure for Measure, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. Parallel to this, he was writing sonnets as well. All these plays reveal the crisis of human errors and judgment. There is a clash between morality, human desire, and ambition. Although Twelfth Night is a comedy, we see that he blends all the tragic pathos and ethos within it. And that is why the comic and the happy scenarios appear a bit melancholic. This is where he makes us realize that drama is nothing but the reflection of life, nothing but a blend of tragic and comic. There cannot be a single emotion of life, as there cannot be a uniform genre. In the maturity period, the blend of tragic and comic can be seen more vividly. Here, the whole idea of life as a stage can be expressed very beautifully. Play written in this time is The Winter's Tale. The title itself suggests that he was talking about a life which is full and mature. And now he is also quite mature in his life. And at the same time, he is also talking about the limitation of imagination at this stage of life. Not exactly imagination has limits, but language has limits. Maybe this thought has disturbed him so much that he stopped writing altogether. He retired to his village and went back to his wife and spent the rest of the life there. The major dramas of this time are Antony and Cleopatra, Pericles, Coriolanus, Timon and Athens, Prince of Tyre, Cymbeline, A Winter's Tale, The Tempest, The Two Noble Kinsmen, and Henry VIII. Now, if we look at the generic division, we will see that Shakespeare mostly wrote historical plays, partly historical or semi-historical, tragedies or tragicomedies. These are the four kinds of divisions we have. Although we see a range of revenge comedies also in cases of Othello and Hamlet, but the problem of this kind of classification is that Shakespeare does not adhere to the classical models. So when he was writing historical plays, he was mostly based on Holinshed chronicles. Yet he did not completely adhere to Holinshed, he changed and evolved. So, with the time, he became more and more comfortable in understanding what the audience exactly demanded. They did not know or care to know about the accuracy of the events. They wanted to see the response of the characters involved in the historical events. And that is what Shakespeare gave them. That is what makes him universal, relevant even today. His version of history or historical plays became more fiction, less facts, and more appealing to human emotions. He continued to develop romantic comedies. In his romantic dramas, he showed certain features. The setting is often far away places of magic and illusion. The Forest of Arden in As You Like It, and then there is Belmont, the home of Portia. Although Belmont is just another city, just like Venice, but the whole episode of Casket and choosing the casket transformed Belmont into something magical. In Midsummer's Night Dream, it is the entire fairyland where anything can happen. In Twelfth Night, there is Illyria. Viola makes comparison between Illyria and Elysium, the heaven of the Greeks. It sounds like illusion. It's nowhere and everywhere. It's a place where illusions are born. It's a place inside the heart. In this way, The Tempest is also set in a faraway country. Yet, we cannot call it a romantic comedy altogether. The second feature of Shakespeare's comedies is the existence of multiple plot lines. Why are the subplots important? Why couldn't he stick to the classical model, the unity of actions in his comedies? He felt that tragedies are of the larger than life characters, but the characters or comedies are comic are common people and their minor flaws. In tragedies, the flaws are magnified, and the magnified flaws, the hubris, leads to the magnified error of judgment, hamartia. But the minor flaws are something that everyone possesses. These are present in all people who go to watch the plays. So when people laugh at this ludicrousness or abnormality, mostly mental abnormality, they laugh at their own flaws. This laughter is a correcting laughter. This is why comedy became a social genre. It is not about Macbeth getting alienated or lonely. It's about people coming together. This is why where there is harmony, there cannot be a single plot line. Of course, there is love. Sometimes people think that it is called romantic comedy because there is love. But that is not the case. It is called romantic because it is about the world of imagination, feeding the imaginative faculties, is giving an unknown place and something exciting is happening there. It is romantic in that sense. Therefore, somehow all these romantic comedies feature multiple heroes and heroines. There are also powerful women characters like Viola, Portia, and Rosalind. In comedies, we see more powerful women than in tragedies. In romantic comedies, he is giving a world where women are more powerful, but at the same time, women are disguised. But the question is, why was Shakespeare so obsessed with the idea of disguise? This could be because of the fact that during that time, the women did not appear on the stage. The young boys would play the roles of the women characters. So therefore, if there is a women character, it is helpful for the makeup artists. He does not have to make the boy look like a girl. He just has to make the boy look like a girl in small insignificant scenes. But the more important scenes, the boy looked like a boy and remained a boy, which is quite believable. Then we have a lot of doubles. In Twelfth Night, there is these twins. In the Comedy of Errors, there are the twins. Rosalind and Celia are the pair. Either there are twins or pairs. So it is very adventurous in that sense. And in that sense, it can be very romantic. So far as the historical plays are concerned, he mostly sticks to Holinshed, but made some changes too. But in plays like Hamlet, he made some real changes because he had the Spanish tragedy in front of him. Violence, revenge, all of them mixed together. And at the same time, Hamlet is also a domestic tragedy. Why? Because at the end, it is about a son who is grieving his father and his mother marrying the uncle who killed his father. He eventually slays the uncle and everybody dies. Everybody dying is a popular trope in revenge tragedy. Macbeth is not a revenge tragedy as revenge is not the central motive of the play. It is the outcome of the resolution. In Julius Caesar, revenge is there, but there are two viable motives. People have ambition and they do something wrong, or people want justice. Revenge is a great motivator. Hence, it is used in lot of Shakespeare's tragedies. But not all of them are revenge tragedy. Shakespeare used the historical background because all the people know these stories by repeated usage and they come with a certain kind of expectation. They come not with the expectations of facts but with the expectation of what lies behind those facts. Shakespeare provided them with the fantasy and idea about what is going on in the mind of Macbeth. This makes his historical plays so very unlike the other historical plays written before him. He did not go to the university, but he knew Latin. He never had the resources John Milton had. Therefore, he gathered everything from life. Shakespeare actually made Holinshed popular. We know of Holinshed because of Shakespeare, not the other way around. So he did not just copy from Holinshed, he breathed life in it. Shakespeare wrote for public and public performance, though he wrote some pieces for private performance as well. Love's Labour's Lost, Troilus and Cressida, Midsummer's Night's Dream, The Tempest were for private performance. Later, they were also performed in public as well. So, what happened after Chaucer happened after Shakespeare as well. After Shakespeare, there was a void. Although Ben Jonson was a leading figure in post Shakespearean era, with Shakespeare's drama, the idea of reality is there. Some kind of poetic justice, some value to the aesthetic representation. After Shakespeare, drama declined. With the exception of Ben Jonson, we see sensationalism. People were writing only for the sake of pleasing people. During Shakespeare's time, the common people went to the theatre. After that, the people who went to the theatre did not know what to do. The active workforce, and all they wanted was just entertainment. And the playwrights provided that. Ben Jonson was against the decline. He fought to restore the classical sense of drama. He was very strict about the division of comedy and tragedy. Unlike Shakespeare, he did not mix the genres. An interesting fact is that in Ben Jonson's first comedy, Every Man in His Humor, Shakespeare played a part. Ben Jonson started the comedy of humors. He wrote a lot of masks. King James rewarded him with the title of Poet Laureate. Now, what is humor? Humor is a tendency of experiences to provoke laughter and provide amusement. The term is derived from the ancient medicinal term of the Greeks. Humor is a Latin word which means body fluids. There are four types of body fluids: blood, flame, choler, and melancholy. It was believed that the balance of all these humors control the human health as well as emotions. And the imbalance occurs due to the imbalance of these humors, or the follies in character also occur due to the imbalance of these humors. Because of this disorder, we laugh at a person. Everyone out of his humor, Volpone, Epicon the Silent Woman, the Alchemist, the Bartholomew Fair, The Devil is an Ass are the important plays of Ben Jonson. Unlike Shakespeare, Ben Jonson's tragedies or comedies do not span for months or days. They adhere to the unities of time rigidly. He also never took liberty with historical facts. Another two figures in post Shakespearean drama are Beaumont and Fletcher. They were university trained, and unlike Johnson, they were mostly into sensationalism, sometimes intensely romantic. There is high colored sentiment. Their important plays are The Women's Theatre, The Cupid's Revenge, The Maid's Tragedy, A King and No King, and Love's Cure. The next person is John Webster, who was very erudite. His talent was almost Shakespearean. He ended up following Marlowe, especially when bloodshed, revenge, violence, these things are concerned. His most popular work is The Duchess of Malfi, which is a textbook revenge tragedy, where everyone dies at the end and there is a lot of violence, and this is full of sensationalism ruling over. The White Devil is another example. So, what started with Kid, the revenge tragedy, evolved in the hands of Marlowe somewhat through Shakespeare and attained greater form in the hands of John Webster. Then we have Thomas Middleton. His important plays are The Changeling, Women Beware Women, A Chaste Maid in Cheapside, The Revenger's Tragedy. Thomas Heywood's most important plays are A Woman Killed with Kindness, The English Traveller, The Captives, A Maidenhead, Well Lost. The point is that the concept of whole drama was dwindling. It was going away from the artistic ethics, the moral representation of goodness on the stage. It showed sensationalism, illicit relationship on the stage without any justification. Another important playwright here is Thomas Dekker. His most important play is The Shoemaker's Holiday. It recreates some of Shakespearean conventions. But he was only one man, and after him we have Shirley, Messenger, and Ford. They were struggling to stay afloat. On the other hand, there was this rise of Puritans who were going down on the whole concept of drama itself. After Elizabeth, people were getting more and more in tune with the Puritan ethos. Then drama was seen as a malicious effect or malicious influence on human mind. And finally, in 1642, the theatre was closed in England, and it was decided unanimously by both the houses of the parliament. So that was the Elizabethan drama. I hope this lecture was helpful, and I hope you have watched the previous video on Elizabethan drama also. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and for the continuation of UGC Net series, keep an eye on my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.